Well, there's something very familiar about this. The Prime Minister is flying out west. By the time you see this, in fact, he probably already will have landed. He is returning to visit with Indigenous leadership in British Columbia because, obviously, as some of you will recall, a few weeks ago on the inaugural Truth and Reconciliation Day, rather than take part in any events, the Prime Minister chose instead to begin a vacation. You know, the thing is, too, I think some of the reaction to the Prime Minister's trip was overheated and in line with the usual partisan hysteria. But I think one thing I didn't understand why no one mentioned this. It wasn't even per se to me that he had chosen to not take part in any events. If the explanation from the PMO had been, well, you know what, today's not about us, it's about Indigenous Canadians and leaders and their community and an opportunity for all Canadians to kind of reflect, I think that would have been a pretty solid answer. You know, people would have been mad at him, but everybody's going to be mad at the Prime Minister some of the time. Some people are going to be mad at the Prime Minister all the time. This is part of the job. What I think killed him was beginning a holiday. And this is something that I and others have written about before in the context of Remembrance Day as well. If you take a solemn occasion and make it a holiday, inevitably you end up with some people going, oh, well, thank God it's Remembrance Day, or thank God it's Truth and Reconciliation Day. I could really use a day off. Like, I need some me time. And I think the Prime Minister, even if he hadn't taken part in any events, if he had just avoided jetting off on a beach vacation, he would have saved himself a lot of trouble. But he didn't. He's now acknowledged wrongdoing. He's heading out to BC again now to kind of do a bit of a mulligan on that one and try to do it all over. I don't have anything really left to say about the incident itself, beyond the fact that it was a completely typical Justin Trudeau political scandal. Like, this is a textbook example of combination of cluelessness, tone deafness, and hypocrisy, that if you want to draw a through line through most of the scandals that have damaged but never quite ended the career of Justin Trudeau, they all look kind of like this. Beyond that, I have nothing really to say. On the broader issue of reconciliation, I don't know if I have much wisdom to offer on that either, beyond the fact that it's going to be a slow slog and no one will ever be satisfied with it. And I know we are in an era where we're doing better on this. I learned about residential schools probably in the first time I remember learning about them was in university. Maybe they'd come up once or twice before that in earlier levels of schooling. But I didn't really learn the substance of them until I was in university, and those were in classes I chose to take. If you had made different course selections, even if you were one of my fellow history majors, you probably never would have found out about it. If you were outside the history program, I don't see how you would have found out about it at all. And this is not even 20 years ago. Now my kids, they're young, they're in elementary school, and they are learning about this stuff. And as far as I can tell, they're learning about it reasonably and appropriately and responsibly. The Prime Minister, of course, is an older man, not old, you know what I mean, but from an earlier generation. I don't know, maybe his kids and my kids and all the kids out there in school today, 20, 30 years from now, maybe they won't need to be told not to start your holiday on TRC Day. Maybe that's one way they will be better adjusted than a lot of us. As for Mr. Trudeau, I would like to say that he won't make a mistake like this again, but he hasn't learned yet. And I'm not really sure why he would this time.